Welcome everyone to a casted game of Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in the southwest corner of the map playing in red, we have got marinelord playing as the Ottomans, and his opponent in the northeast playing in blue, we've got puppypaw playing as Jushi's Legacy. Welcome everyone to Golden Pit on the new Japanese Springs biome. As part of the new Sultan's Ascend DLC, what a beautiful sight. Okay, well, any village are being cancelled. But this is an interesting build. I mean, we've seen it pretty standard one, actually. He actually collected 50 wood, by the way, with the villagers. Went out to the mill, supervising, and also getting that village. So, clean opening here for Jushi's Legacy, played by puppypaw, going up against the Ottomans, one of the original civilizations. In fact, actually, not one of the originals. They actually came up with the second DLC as part of the mix between the Ottomans and the Malians. Going to be getting that early military school just to put a bit of pressure. Now, Jushi's Legacy has become known as a very strong civilization, primarily because of their Song Dynasty giving you 40% discount on non-military productions in terms of wood. And that includes town centers, by the way. So whilst they don't have faster producing town centers like the Song Dynasty of the Chinese, you can get that second town center very quickly. Not only that, you can get free resources passively from the Meditation Gardens landmark. And, I mean, there's a lot of positions you can put it in. Usually you typically go for at least food and gold. I mean, this could be a nice spot. You could get both food and gold, and maybe wood, maybe this spot. I'm not sure how much. Wait. If he goes in the middle here, could he actually get wood, stone, berries, and gold? You do get some crazy gold income from the Meditation Gardens at times, especially if you go for the middle. Like, this could be an option. Like, if he goes here, it's obviously pretty exposed, maybe getting an outpost on it, but could access 4 gold veins, big ones, for the Meditation Gardens. I suspect the spearman will be on hand there to push that a little bit if he does spot it. In fact, where is the spearman from marinelord? What's he up to? Wait, did he lose the spearman? He might just... No, maybe he just didn't come out yet. I think that's the first one, actually. Yeah, that's the first spearman to come out here for marinelord. A puppypaw. Still 3 villagers on gold, so he's going to get that Meditation Gardens up and running. Where's he gone for it? Oh, he's gone here. Kind of expected that, actually. To be fair, we did kind of call it. I mean, wonder if he gets the stone. Is that too far out? I wonder what the range on this thing is. Oh, he gets that. He actually gets that stone vein. That's crazy. He's gonna get all 4. He's gonna get stone, wood, and gold, and food. There's gonna be crazy Meditation Gardens, but he does have to protect it, right? So this is one of the landmarks that if it is under pressure from the enemies, then he doesn't get the full resources. It's going to be the twin minaret madrasa for the Ottomans. Getting that free food. Now, I'm kind of interested to see how this one plays out, because Jushi's Legacy can be played in a variety of ways. It can be very aggressive, like staying on one town center sort of thing. But they can also just expand to a second town center, go for a fast castle, into the bald men, we like to call them. Very strong religious unit to get the relics. They can even fight themselves as well. We'll come on to that if he actually ends up doing that. Spearman heading to the stealth forest a little bit. Not being able to pressurize too much just yet. Needs to find out where that Meditation Garden is, right? They probably needs to pressurize that. Hasn't spotted it just yet. Is sending that second spearman out now as well. I guess at this point, I'd like to say a very big thank you for the guys watching on YouTube and all the support, and also the guys watching on Twitch. I'm actually casting this one live, so if you are on Twitch, you generally watch some live streams here and then, and you would like to see me cast live, maybe drop a follow, maybe join in. Love to see you there. I've only started recently, so be pretty cool to see there. In any case, alright, it's going to try to get an outpost here. It's kind of a smart idea because this landmark is getting him all 4 resources, right? So he can pretty much afford arrow slits quite easily very soon. So that will keep it nice and well and protected. It's difficult to deal with here for marinelord, I've got to say. Like, how does he address this situation? Because he's up against the Meditation Gardens, which is incredibly strong with all 4 resources. There's no real way to push it quickly because, of course, the outpost is just up now. And so any unit that goes in range is going to be in trouble. And it feels a little bit awkward, actually, I've got to say. I mean, because there's no way to punish this, right? Not unless he takes into rams, which is a heavy investment. By the time he does that anyway, with how slow that will be, a lot of resources would have already come in for Jushi's Legacy. Speaking of which, it does look like it's going to be a fast castle. Like, take a look at the resources. They already got 400 gold or so. Oh, marinelord. being pesky with the deer camp, just annoying a little bit. Although I don't think it was really on the card. I mean, is this really an issue? Because I think if puppypaw is going to go for a second town center, I mean, he just places it here, right? If anything, he's doing him a favor. Going to get the deer and the gold anyway. So that's a curious one. But it is what it is. Just a couple of spearmen just bracing. I mean, does he actually... Is actually under... I mean... Oh, to be fair, arrow slits isn't yet. It's not in yet. That's actually quite handy. So hand cannon slits isn't just in yet. And that's going to be denying a bit of the resources coming in. No doubt about that. Oh, spearman. Going up against the scout. Right, pretty slow opening, right? I guess the Ottomans, let's just see what they're up to. Going on stone, maybe for a second town center, just to try and match as much as possible. But take a look at that. Fast castle coming out here for Jushi's legacy. Is staying on one town center. Going to be going up with the Shaolin Monastery. That's going to be giving him access to the Shaolin monks, of course. Incredibly strong units. They heal themselves, actually. They don't heal others. They can also fight. I believe it's 140 HP. We'll double check that when it comes out. I believe it's 140 HP and a decent amount of damage. Can be in many ways very equivalent to the Palace Guard. I think it has +2 ranged armor as well, which makes it very difficult to deal with. Speaking of which, the Ottomans often do go for a lot of archers. They've got a pretty strong wood economy, especially with the cheaper production buildings. And we see we hear, really, I guess, the Vizier points coming in. Puppypaw, and again, is that Castle Age? Obviously, Marinelord nowhere near that. Going for a second town center on the deer camp, which Puppypaw spots, right? So now behind all of this, Puppypaw, I'm sure, will be getting a couple of Shaolin monks. As you can see, now they're not cheap, but they cost mostly food, 200 food. But they are, you know, they're pretty equally aggressive too. Already there, 7 minutes on the clock, and now he's going to be getting Shaolin monks, and he's probably going to pick up a relic or two. Let's take a look at that. It's not 140 health, it's 170 health. Holy smokes. With 15 melee damage, attack speed of 0.75, not too shabby. I gotta say, this is going to pack a real punch. It's going to be difficult for the Ottomans to deal with, and certainly these two spearmen won't be enough. Especially with the micro ability, right? Because, of course, he'll take an engagement, doesn't necessarily have to complete the fight, and just walks away. Especially when you factor in the movement speed, 1.25 for the spearman. Oh, she's actually slower than a spearman, but fair enough. So won't be able to run away from the fight. Doesn't really need to, because he's battering away. He might lose himself to the Sipahi, but Sipahi decides to back away. Marinelord not interested. Especially with the second Shaolin monk coming in. And Marinelord isn't that second town center, so his economy will scale a little bit better, at least in terms of the villager count. But don't forget, Meditation Gardens has been working very hard. Let's take a look at the resources. Coming with 30 stone per minute, 30 gold, 32 wood, and 40 food. That's a lot, guys. That's like the equivalent of, well, just under 4 villages. I'd say maybe 3 villages, roughly, 3.5. That's a lot. I'm going to go for the Jiangnang Tower to get that Song Dynasty, and then maybe think about getting a second town center behind this. We shall see what Puppypaw decides to do. Like I said, the Ottomans, though, look at trying to wall up the relics as many as they can, and try and deny the Shaolin monks getting the better of the situation. Has got one on his back so far. Surprisingly enough, this isn't actually showing on the overlay. If you ever look at the bottom left, it's not showing on Capture Age, which is kind of an unfortunate situation. Walking like, he's pretty comfortable, isn't he? That thing on his back. Strong man. Okay, we're depositing that relic inside. Going to be going out to the next one. This is a situation where it becomes quite interesting, because Marinelord might actually have a really nice power spike into the next sort of 15, I say 10-15 minutes, when he gets to the castle age himself and has a large economy. But the trouble is, he does need to survive. It does feel like Puppypaw, though, on the back of this, he's going for, I mean, it's actually difficult to read. I mean, he's getting stone income in, but most of that's coming in from the Meditation Gardens, I think. So it looks like he is going to play one town center. I'm not so sure how I feel about that. Especially considering the Ottomans going 2 town centers. The reason why I say that is because if the game does go to the mid to late game, the Ottomans do actually have an incredibly strong late game. I think recently they've been buffed a little bit in their late game, and that's really scaled quite nicely for them, especially when they get the Great Bombard numbers up, which they get for free from the Mehmed Imperial Armory. Obviously, it's a bit slow to come out, but they can always supplement that with siege engines from the siege workshops that they can build. if they can do that, mass up those great bombards, it could be dangerous for puppypaw and the Jushi legacy. Getting the six out on the east side. Gonna get a bit of gold trickle in from there. I mean, almost thinks he could push this. I mean, it's quite crazy when you think about it. Just short of 6 units there. 5 of them. Gonna push away all those Sipahi. That's crazy to think about, right? I mean, granted, going for a second town center expansion for Jushi Legacy would be a bit tricky on the food count, right? Because these guys do cost 200 food a pop. The good thing is it is just one resource. He does have 3 relics to his name now. Okay, so the overlay doesn't show them when they're picked up for the Jushi Legacy. It does show them when they're deposited, though. Going to be breaking through that palisade to all the Sipahi. Thinking about going for I'm not so sure the Sipahi win that. And puppypaw just might turn around and fight. I think it wins when the reinforcements come in. Yeah, there are 2 more Sipahi. Makes the engagement a little bit better. A couple of archers just going to focus on, but you see the archers barely doing any damage, right? It's got 2 versus ranged armor, and they're healing themselves up already. Oh, okay, that's smart. He's going to take out one of the monks just to pick up the relic and push the others onwards. But the numbers of military looking pretty decent here for marinelord. He is an age behind, though, of course. Do start to see the lancers, the heavily melee units for puppypaw's Jushi Legacy. And that makes the engagement actually turn on its head a little bit. I don't think it's a fight that marinelord can take anymore. And he's going to lose out on that relic. He's going to go to the castle age now with the Mehmet Imperial Armory. It's important that he doesn't lose his army here. I think if anything, actually, the Jushi Legacy will be quite happy to fight this. Oh, he's kind of pulled away, though. Okay, right. There's the Shaolin monks deserted the lancers there for a short while, and marinelord was looking to take advantage of that. Does have the extra 15% attack speed bonus coming out because of the meta. Oh, looking to harass that deer camp. Might actually get... No, he's going to focus on the Sipahi now. He's going to have to back away, though. Can't take that fight. Not with those numbers. The Shaolin monks did head back home, and there is that castle age for marinelord. A bit of a shame not to see puppypaw actually push in a little bit more. Holy smokes. The reason why is because he's gone for a 3rd town centre. He's got... I mean... Okay, he's suddenly got a 2nd one. He's also got a 3rd one. So that villager boom's going to really catch up, and... the thing is about that... Okay, so he's going to get villagers out, but he's going to be facing up against an Ottoman late game, and... I feel like the Ottoman late game is always a bit of a beast to deal with, right? When they get elite Sipahi, it's so difficult to deal with. They can snipe your siege if you're out of position, even for a second. And speaking of siege, they get their own crazy siege engines. The Great Bombard with siege crews is incredibly strong. Siege crews as a vizier point you can toggle and can garrison the siege engines and increase the, I should say decrease the unpacking time of the siege engines and increase the attack speed. So it always gives them the first strike, really, if they are paying attention, the Ottomans. Gets another relic to his name, a 4th one there, camping out in the base and adding in a couple of Chukunu as well. And puppypaw is going to, his economy, give it 15-20 minutes. They're going to be very, very strong. And there is one little mechanic, though, for Jushi's Legacy. If they do go, I believe it's the Imperial Library or some kind of library. Jushi's Library, maybe. The Imperial Age Landmark. They can actually unlock really strong dynasty units. And that could be something on the cards. Very expensive units, very high HP units, and that could be very population efficient, but we do need to get there. Quite the extensive farming transition now coming up for puppypaw. And that's going to be really bolstering his chances to get to that Imperial Age. Good food income coming in. A pretty passive game at this point, but I think puppypaw with 3 relics, 1 sacred site, and having the meditation gardens coming in with resources and the villager boom. I mean, he's going to catch up on that village count pretty quickly, and then he's going to surpass the Ottomans very, very quickly. But behind this, it looks like maybe, you know, marinelord, he's got quite a good standing army. Might possibly consider going to the Imperial Age, which is, I feel at this point in this game, that's probably where the Ottomans will really shine. If you can get control of the middle, because there's so much gold in this map, right? There's just so much gold. If this is protected, that can be a really good win condition for either player, to be honest. It does feel like the Ottomans have probably got the better edge at doing that at this stage of the game, at least the way it is now. But things can change. They can change fast. Does deposit that one relic. In the end there, marinelord. I was about to say, yeah, I was surprised that wasn't picked up yet, but it is now. Would love to see someone contest the west side sacred site, but as I said that, there's quite a few lancers diving in there for puppypaw, not enough to really take a meaningful engagement. There's too many Sabai here. The Spy should be able to chase on and catch up a little bit, get a couple of pokes and stabbies, but nothing to really do terrible damage against this number of knights, or lancers I should say. I wonder where the puppypaw decides to meet this fight. Yeah, he does. He's going to come in with Nesta B, Shaolin monks, and a couple of crossbows and a couple of lancers and palace guard. This is a really difficult army to deal with, right? It's got bits of everything. No, not going to take the bait. He's going to back away himself now. Does have the 4 military schools, which is constantly churning out free units. And he's going to go for that 6 start on the west side. I would love to see marinelord push in a little bit now, because he does have the military advantage. Slowly but surely he will be falling behind on economy, but he has a really good window of opportunity to fight here. And the trouble for puppypaw, it doesn't really have the military numbers he needs to kind of defend against this at this point. He might be under a bit of pressure. Static defense is going to buy him time then. That's what it's probably all about. Puppypaw needs to buy time to let his villager boom to really take off, and probably needs to try and contest for that middle, right, at some point. Good thing is it does have a bit of a trickle of stone coming in for puppypaw, so might be thinking about getting a keep. The trouble for him is at this point the keep is probably going to have to be defensive rather than positional in the middle of the map. SBs might start to deploy, but I'm not so sure about this fight here for puppypaw. There's a lot of janissaries that rip through the lancers, a couple of palace guards which will do well against the Sapai, but they have almost pretty much all gone, and the Nesta B does take a lot of damage on those janissaries. But there's the Mangonel coming in from the south for the marinelord, and that's probably going to turn the tide of the fight. But those Shaolin monks, they are doing work against the Sapahi. The janissaries behind them are going to try and take out as many of them as they can, but these guys have +2 armor against ranged, and that's as a base standard stock unit. And he's pushed it back, and he's sniped out the Mangonel, and all of a sudden, Ottomans, their army has to head back home, and that's a good pushback by puppypaw. They might be thinking slowly about going to the Imperial Age. Now, whilst marinelord's army is still bigger in numbers, most of them are back at home, right? Heading forward with a lot of janissaries being made. Going to be just edging forward with the Mangonel or two, staying in back for now. And yeah, so it looks like puppypaw maybe thinking about going to that Imperial Age. Doesn't quite have the gold, but a bit of balancing of his economy. If he has a market, he should be fine soon. Although he did just spend another batch of food, so he's got a lot in the bank. If it does go up now, it could be a bit of a tricky situation, right? Because marinelord looks like he's going to be gearing up to push. Has a lot of gold in the bank himself. That's a lot of janissary. Gets an outpost just for some vision, all-important vision. Did wall up again and does have a Springer replacement on the outpost. I love this defensive position here for puppypaw for now, at least. But it does still need more time, right? We still need at least another 10 minutes for him to really get that economy live wire. I mean, he's not that far ahead of his opponent. Although, when you factor in the meditation gardens, when you factor in the 4 relics, the 3 advantage in that regard, and about sort of 8 villager advantage, and yeah, it becomes a bit tricky. I mean, the Ottomans do get 3 units after all, but the Nesta B is doing great work. One of them so far picking off the Mangonel, and the Ottomans going to have to back off now. It doesn't really have the siege engines here, despite having the Merman Imperial Armory. Can be tricky sometimes, right? I guess in the Ottomans you can sometimes fall into a false sense of security in terms of siege and think, okay, I will get 3 siege engines. I'll be fine. I don't have to get any siege workshops. Being gap closed by the palace guards, a couple of crossbows trying to chase. Janissaries might be looking to do some damage on the micro there. Oh, the Shaolin monks tanking as well, and that's going to be a decentish fight here overall for puppypaw once he takes out the front line. But the thing is, once he does do that, what will be left behind, because the janissaries are ripping through. Does have a couple crossbows which the Sabai going to try and dive on the nest of bees. Doesn't quite get there in the end, and nest of bees will survive, but that front line was taken out by puppypaw. But here comes a second wave of them, getting a forward keep on that gold, trying to establish a location in the front, which the Ottomans already have done, but not with the static defense. And mostly production builders here for marinelord. He can't afford to lose this position. I mean, sure, the Ottomans do produce the production buildings cheaper, only 100 wood a pot, but that's a significant wood investment. That's about 500 wood there. It's almost double the investment that he actually has in the bank already at the moment. Mangonel does deploy, but doesn't get all that much luck. Does have 2 springalds, 2 versus 2 springalds. It might come down to the marker who gets the first hit. In fact, there's 3 springalds there for puppypaw, so he might feel good about getting the engagement. Oh, might snipe out a trebuchet for free. He does, but he does lose a springald in the process. Lightkeep is in a nice spot. Has hand cannon slits, of course, playing as the Jushi legacy. Gonna get forward siege workshop just to help with the production, and slowly but surely this is going to turn into a siege fight, right? Meat shield with the siege fight, and does have a trebuchet that's starting to work here for marinelord. Mangonel deploys, but good micro there for puppypaw just to get out of the way. The 2 springalds going to chase. Should be able to snap at the 2. Wait. Spot. Oh, he lost 1 springald, and all of a sudden the Ottomans should be better off in terms of the siege here. Does have the extra 2 springalds to his name. Does have mangonels as well, and maybe not enough Sabahi just to take the fight just yet. It's going to hold back and get a keep just to protect these 2 gold veins. So both players at the stage actually having access to gold. And I'd say all of a sudden puppypaw starting to push back. He's kind of had that 15-20 minute mark to boom and make use of that. Fortunately, the Ottomans couldn't do the damage they wanted to. But with 2 trebuchets starting to unpack on that keep, puppypaw is going to have to start repairs. He does have plenty of stone to do so. Oh, a little group of horsemen, or Sabahi I should say, heading eastwards just to see what value they can get. Maybe looking to burn through the palisades. They probably should be able to get through pretty quickly. But marinelord and puppypaw both at population cap, but there's Jushi's library. That could be an interesting approach to end the game, because he's going to have the Imperial Age upgrades coming in pretty quickly after that. Does need to survive this raid though. I mean, ultimately it's about 14 Sabahi. It might do damage, but it won't be doing critical damage. Unless there's a big lapse of judgment or lapse of concentration there by marinelord. Not to save the villagers. Now that he has got to the Imperial Age though, that's going to be unlocking some really nice benefits for Jushi's legs. But before we get there, the Palace Guard is going to... Yeah, the Palace Guards will rip that up. I'm afraid. marinelord didn't really get all the value that he wanted there. The big question is, where is that Imperial Age landmark? Did he build it in the front? There's no way he built it in the front. Struggling to find it. Oh, there it is. Right in front of my face. Alright, so it does have a lot of unique techs. Go through them one by one, because actually it's been a while since I've had a look for them. Roar of the Dragon. Spearman and Horseman gain Fire Lance when charging. That's quite a nice one for if you're going for trash units. Chickanoo and Crossbowmen fire an extra bolt. As if they didn't have enough already, the Chickanoo. Dynastic Protectors allows production of unique cavalry units, the Yuan Raider and the Imperial Guard. So the Imperial Guard is something I'm pretty excited to see. Advanced Administration, Imperial officials gain extra health and a bit of extra gold coming in. As an area of effect damage for Great Bombast. Now you can only actually research 2, I believe, of these techs. So that's something to consider. In any case, Nesta B is starting to really stack up here for puppypaw, 4 of them. Alright, it's going to burn down those buildings, and I mean, marinelord does have a good army number, but it feels like at this point, because it's Jushi's legacy with the Imperial Age upgrades in, or at least, actually no, he hasn't actually got that many of them. He's got the Palace Guard ones, but he's going to get a lot of value from the siege there, I think. Nesta B's, oh, they might attack the villagers. Oh, he's got to be careful here, Marine. I was going for the outpost. That was a bit of a anticlimactic situation. Here's what it is. It does have 3 trebuchets, so that's going to be difficult to deal with for puppypaw. Doesn't quite have the springald numbers he would want, and he's going to lose that keep. That's actually quite difficult. He might have some cannon emplacements in the outpost, but even if he does, well, he doesn't for starters, but even if he did, that'll get taken down pretty quickly. He does have a lot of elite Palace Guards, though. That's a pretty bad situation, I think. This is going to do well here for puppypaw. The front line is really tanky with the elite Palace Guards. Does have elite man-at-arms here from the Ottomans, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough, especially when you factor in the Nesta Bees. Well, actually, no, this is looking a bit of a death push. I think the Janissary is getting good value. Like, the crossbow's not really unloading on them too much. Does have a couple of mangonels. 4 Springles, snipes out at least 2 of those Nesta Bees in the end, and he has to retreat quite badly. I mean, whilst puppypaw does have the military numbers, it feels like this army is really difficult to deal with from the Ottomans. The Palace Guards are looking pretty good, but they did take a massive shot from the mangonels, possibly even another one. The Janissaries are doing well to protect the mangonels for now. Sabai coming in from the back line, adding into the fight. And the Sabai would be great against the crossbows, but the crossbow numbers are looking pretty good. Janissaries ripping through that front line. Mangonel's about to deploy. Well, they does lose one, might lose another. The Springall's there. Will he focus on it? Oh, he took out the Springall first. The Mangonel should deploy. He's going to back away for now and keep it safe. Oh, he lost it. Backs away for now for that keep. Back to the safety of the keep, and does have the great bombard in placement. It's going to be very difficult for puppypaw to push this position. It's going to need siege, right? More than just Springles and Nesta Bees. It's going to need to find a way to take care of that keep. Because you can't really engage it with military. Not with the great bombard in placement in play there for that keep. He's kept his siege really nice and secure here, marinelord. Oh, he snipes out a Nesta Bees. That was bad there for puppypaw. Last one to the Sabai. We talked about the ability for the Sabai, though, to just snipe the siege. It's a really good thing for the Ottomans. Interestingly enough, he's actually really focusing on trebuchets rather than great bombards. Now that he's taken that static defenses, it's going to have a really good strong siege push. It feels like puppypaw just isn't able to get the production out, right? He's really struggling on food, despite having so much income. It's actually kind of crazy when you think about it. It's got 2,600 food. But he's always spending it. Doesn't quite have enough, it seems, at times. Same can be said for marinelord, but here's an engagement here with the Janissaries on the back, Sabai in the front, engaging with the elite Palace Guards. The Springles versus Springles. It does feel like the Springle count is looking good for puppypaw. I take that back because the Sabai dive on that, take out 2 Springles in the blink of an eye. As I say that, marinelord loses his Springles in the blink of an eye. That leaves the Mangonels very exposed. The Springles need to get involved here for puppypaw. Should snipe out that Mangonel. Mangonel doesn't quite get the shot off, and the Janissaries do have to back away for now. 28 minutes on the clock almost, and the game is heating up. Both playing for that middle gold vein, of course, and why wouldn't you? That's where the key to this map is, really. Spriggled numbers looking pretty healthy, though, for Jushi's legacy. 3 so far. No doubt more on the way. It doesn't seem like he's got siege crews here, marinelord. Didn't use that for the vizier point. It's a bit of a shame. Cycling eastwards with a couple of Sabai to see what value he can get. We'll have to see. Let's take a look. So, let's see what techs he took in the end. Oh, he hasn't taken... Wait, has he not taken them yet? No, he hasn't. Can't afford them just yet. But seeing he's got a lot of Palace Guards, let's just see what would make sense. None of them really suit the Palace Guards, to be honest. Temple of the Sun, though, we'll be looking to get Divine Defense. Gunpowder units, okay. Defensive structures, +1. +1 range. We'll be diving in with the Elite Sabahi. I mean, this time these guys might get more value than the last group did, because they're actually breaking through this time. Speaking of breaking through, looks like marinelord wanting to do that with his siege again. Does have a great bombard on the field as well with the 3 trebuchets. All the Palace Guards going to try and get through, but the great bombard with the splash damage dished out so much damage on those Palace Guards, and just one shot it took to do that. Imagine if you had more great bombards. This is one of the reasons why I love the late game from the Ottomans. It's so strong. Not necessarily that marinelord is taking advantage of that unit, though. And he pulls away a lot of the units. I like this play, right? He's kind of pushing puppypaw's army just to stay at home, and then he's pushing on the front lines with the siege. And it's difficult for puppypaw to be in 2 places at once, and he's going to have to draw those villagers away from that gold vein. Eventually, maybe. Bombard and packs. The Janissary is going to protect. Has a couple of Springles as well, and the trouble is the great bombard's got such great health. It takes like 8 or 9 Springles to one-shot it, something like that. Oh, that's a big push here for coming from marinelord. Takes out that front line. Villagers have to back away from gold, and all of a sudden, puppypaw is going to be without villagers and gold, but he's got plenty in the bank just as well for him. Janissary is going to be trying and dishing out as much damage as they can on the Palace Guards. Janissaries are going to have to retreat for now. Might lose a great bombard in the end. Palace Guard, no, I'm not sure they do, because there's a lot of Sabahi. They're going to dive in, and Protect the Great Bombard. Great Bombard getting that splash damage. Might lose a couple of the units on the front line, puppypaw, if he doesn't back away, and that's what he does now. And marinelord starting to gain momentum. Oh, this is looking bad for puppypaw. The main reason is the siege, right? So there's two components to this push. One is the units, which is doing great work, pushing up the army away there for puppypaw. But the big thing is the follow-up with the siege, right? The Great Bombards, the Trebuchets, taking out the forward production slowly but surely. It's very difficult for puppypaw to replace all of that. Doesn't have the wood to do it. He's down to 132 population, ladies and gents. marinelord at 200. He's really spammed out, and the bank of resources for marinelord is all pretty much being spent in the food front, and it's understandable. He's at population cap. Every time he loses units, he's going to be replacing it very quickly. And puppypaw, he needs to find a way to defend. It's going to be difficult, right? He needs to find a way to deal with the siege. And when you've got 4 springolds, a Great Bombard, and 3 trebuchets, I mean, you're going to need a lot of springolds to deal with that. The palace guards just can't get close enough, and a couple of elite Sipahi heading around the back, and Janissaries just behind the Sipahi acting as a great meat shield on the front, going to be looking to snap out any siege that does pop out. And this is a great push here by the Ottomans. I think this could be the death push that we're expecting to take out the game. puppypaw going to try and get the keep up, but he doesn't. He taps out anyway. The push from the Ottomans, it was just far too strong. I hope you guys enjoyed the casted game if you're on YouTube, and if you did, do give the video a thumbs up. Take care, and see you next time.